Everybody, it's Jake McIntyre again, Utah Homes HQ. Today's video is not about real estate sales, unless you want it to be, and then I can make it that way. But no, a few months ago, I've done a few episodes on this channel just about things that go on in our area. I was born and raised here. I love living here. I quite enjoy it. And a few months ago, before the ski season, I did a video about our top ranked resorts in the area, and the top two at the time for that particular survey were Powder Mountain and Snow Basin. I'm very familiar with those ski resorts. As a matter of fact, Snow Basin, my office where I'm at right now is in downtown Ogden, Utah. Right out my office window, I've got a clear shot up to Snow Basin. I can't see it today because it's a stormy day, but a clear shot up there. For my home in East Layton, I'm 20 minutes to the base of the mountain. So it's very easy for me to get to. Another survey. Look, these ski magazines have got to churn out a lot of articles, right? And so they're constantly doing lists and things like that. And this list that just was published talks about the best ski resorts in the U.S. The previous video that I did was talking about the best ski resorts in the West. This is the results of a survey for the entire United States. I'm going to scroll through this really quick and touch base on a couple other places, but then I'm going to get to Powder Mountain and Snow Basin again. It's right at the top. I'm going to read. They're very brief. I'm going to read about those, but then I'll also give you kind of my insights as well. So anyways, let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay. Let's go through here. I've never been to a lot of these places. I've heard good things. You hear people talking about Sugarbush. Deer Valley, look, it's Park City. Everybody knows about Deer Valley. It's Sundance Film Festival is going on right now. That place is probably bananas. It is a ski town for sure. Not my favorite ski resort, personally. Gets pretty crowded. You don't have to worry about lift lines that much, but there's just chaos on those intersections sometimes. You do get a lot of people that are coming in spending a lot of money, thank you very much, but aren't very good skiers. That's my 2 cents. There's some great aspects of Deer Valley. Parking's a mess. Jackson Hole, absolutely love Jackson Hole. I just heard they canceled Corbett's this year due to conditions, which is what you're looking at here. Corbett's, somebody dropping into there. What a killer place. I want to get back up there and spend some more time. I've only been up there one time to ski. That was during COVID, and we ended up with just a half-day pass. No good. Alta ski area, it's phenomenal. I have nothing but great things to say. That whole area between Alta and Snowbird is phenomenal. They get the most snow. It's like cheating at the top of the cottonwoods. But you know what? Traffic is a major freaking headache, and parking. And when we get as much snow as we get up there, I mean, we can go days without being able to get up to those ski resorts. Totally worth it. Totally awesome. Hadn't even heard of Cannon Mountain. Mammoth, I have not been there. I've been to skiing in northern California, Palisades, and Heavenly. Loved it. Would definitely want to go back. Beautiful area. Sunday River. I'll be honest, I'm not very tempted by the East Coast ski resorts, mostly because of the East Coasters that come out here and ski and talk to us. It'd be fun to go check out the towns, but haven't been inspired yet by anybody that's actually lived there. Taos, I hear it's very steep and very technical. I'd love to get there one of these days. Killington, I told you I was going to fly through this. Snowmass, Aspen, Snowmass in Colorado. You know, I hear the same thing from people in Colorado that Utah has better snow. I've tried to ski in Colorado. Again, COVID ruined that. We're supposed to go to Telluride and to Crested Butte one year, and it just made it unreasonable. Bretton Woods, hadn't even heard about that one. Okay, Sun Valley. Sun Valley, it's the sister resort to Snow Basin. Same family owns it. It's really neat. It's very, very expensive, very exclusive. They hold a billionaires club meeting there, I think, every year. It's pretty isolated. It gets really cold up there. I've skied there a couple of times, once on a bro trip and once with the family. Had a great time, would definitely go back. Kind of struggled with snow. I was looking at this because somebody had mentioned this on a social website. They don't have snow. Look at this, 43 inches this season. That's terrible. I don't know what their averages are, but it has to be at least better than that. And the times I've been up there, you see a lot of brown. A lot of brown. The first time I was up there, I couldn't believe, like, why is there so much brown around this ski resort? It's crazy to me. Excellent amenities. It's got some nightlife to it. It's just a cool town. I like it. I've been there in the off season too, and it's also quite fun to spend some time up there. Sugarloaf. Okay, now we're up to number 3. In the October video that I did on that particular set of questions or survey, Snow Basin was number 2. On this one, it's number 3. So this is actually a picture of their new Demoisy High Speed, which is in the lower portion of the mountain, right below the Demoisy terrain. Strawberry is kind of where we refer to that lower portion of the mountain. So real quick, with all the issues in the Cottonwood Canyons last season, we're having them this season as well, Snow Basin became the de facto destination for lots of Salt Lake City skiers. That is a fact. Who'd rather ski than sit in traffic. Most of them like the experience, and that's why this has showed up in this year's rankings. Snow Basin is a bit of an anomaly because there is no lodging. There was plans to bring in a Club Med. That all fizzled. At that time, there was plans to develop lodging and retail at the base of the mountain. I don't know what's going on with that. Snow Basin can be very slow to commit to these development decisions. Accordingly, its scores in the traditional destination resort categories are low. You've got to go into Eden, Huntsville, or Ogden to get a hotel room. But it makes up for it with high scores in many of the other categories. Fast lifts, that's true. Meticulous grooming. The grooming is fantastic. They are great at grooming. I've skied down that mountain blind because of the conditions. The grooming is so good, it doesn't matter. In fact, I just did that last week. Good snow quality. Overall, yes. And enough different types of terrain to satisfy all comers. Quiet during the week, which is when we usually go. Rarely lift lines after the initial morning opening. You know, it can get quite crowded. There's been complaints about traffic flows into the resort and parking. But it's true, by about 11 o'clock, if the whole resort is open, you really don't have to worry about lift lines too much. My group, we tend to go to a lift called John Paul, which just caters for the most part to your Black Diamond or more terrain. It doesn't get as much traffic where we tend to go. There are a few choke points coming down the mountain, though, that can squeeze a lot of that traffic into these tight funnels that I'm not a big fan of. And definitely by the end of the day, that's been chewed up pretty heavily. I usually don't stay much past 2 o'clock for that reason. Let's see. Management does have a tricky job of keeping original fan base happy while catering to new visitors. So it's part of the Icon Pass. A lot of people complain about that. I don't have the Icon Pass this year, but I have had it in years preceding as well, and one season with the Epic Pass. Hey, if you're willing to travel, that is phenomenal. And for a Utah resident to have the Icon Pass, it is a crazy good value. Last year I was able to ski 5 days at Deer Valley, and about 5 days at Solitude, as well as Alta and Snowbird. I can't remember the total numbers. And then the 7 days at Snow Basin. We also traveled out of state up to Mount Bachelor, which was fantastic. So the Icon Pass, I love it. I have nothing to knock against it. And even though I'm only limited to a Snow Basin Pass this year, I like that pass so much. I'm not complaining. It's okay. I get why people do it, and good for them. So, anyways, it is fantastic. I was gonna, by comparison. So, Sun Valley has only gotten, gosh, I've already forgotten, 43 inches. We're at 177 for the season. 83-inch base. We're having a decent snow year. Last year for me was the best snow year I've ever had at Snow Basin. Some incredible conditions, just fantastic conditions. Okay, back to this. Mad River Glen, must be cool. Never heard of it. Okay, back to Powder Mountain. So again in Ogden Valley, this is where I learned to ski. The very first day I ever went skiing was here. And I got the worst ski lesson in history, which consisted of, well, just do it now, which is a great story, obviously, because I'm years later, here I am still skiing. So let's go through their overview. Well, this one took the ski staff by surprise. Okay. Powder Mountain has been popping in and out of the survey for the last several years as a gritty ski area with old, slow lifts, true, limited dining, best wings I've ever had at Powder Mountain. Throwback lodging. We've had very many guy getaways at some of the lodging up on top of the mountain, and they are outdated condos, and they are freaking amazing. And not a speck of nightlife to be found. Nope, you got to bring that yourself. The ski areas rise to the top of the survey, comes at a time when enough skiers are looking for just what Powder Mountain has to offer. Massive adventure at a good price without all the noise. Is it for everyone? Not if you're looking for 5-star dining or a rocking opera scene, which I think a lot of people are okay with that. And that's a positive. That's not a negative. Survey participants love pretty much everything about Powder, especially they do limit the daily ticket sales. Season passes are sold out every year, and they're very difficult to get. How the food in the lodges doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It doesn't, and it's great. And yeah, you can find powder on the slopes days after a storm. It's true. I think I've been a week after a storm before, and we were still finding untouched snow. The parking, for limited ticket sales, I don't think the parking's that bad. You've got an upper and a lower for the main area of the ski resort. It would be nice to have some higher speed lifts. Some of the coldest days on the mountain I've ever experienced have been at Powder Mountain. It doesn't help when you're going very, very slow. Those winds can come up over that ridge and really beat the heck out of you. The less change that comes to this diamond in the rough, the more satisfied customers are likely to keep it. Yeah, about that. So what this fails to mention is there's some new ownership for Powder Mountain. God, what is his name? Reed Hastings, the owner of Netflix, is the majority owner of Powder Mountain and is going to be putting in $100 million into it. We don't know everything, but there could be portions of the resort that become private. So there's been efforts by previous ownership groups to develop the real estate up there. The most expensive listing right now in Ogden Valley is at Powder Mountain. It's a very interesting build, and they're asking $15 million for it. This would make sense in Park City. Just my 2 cents. It doesn't make any up there. It's isolated. It can be difficult to get to with weather. There is, just to go to there's one grocery store in town that's okay. But for services, it's pretty isolated by most resort standards here in Utah. They're moving forward with real estate development. There's going to be more coming next year. They've pretty much pulled everything off the market, and yeah, there's some changes coming. There would be good to modernize certainly those lifts, but it is a cool place. I love Powder Mountain. I always will. And I can see why it's number one. But with this type of attention, right, I mean, this is a big issue that Ogden Valley is going through is development. Well, with increased interest, and we know a lot of ski fans are very wealthy. You can see that all over the world. How much money is put in around this hobby and certainly around real estate development. So, I was going to pop over here real quick on the snow report. Powder Mountain so far, they're at 155 inches for the season and 62-inch base. So it's a neat place. It's huge, absolutely huge ski resort. If you've never been, you've got to make it happen at some point. Be careful on that road. I always have to give everybody a dad talk if they're new to the mountain to come down. Be very, very cautious about how you do that. Downshift, please. Don't ride those brakes. But you've got to check it out. You make sure you get your reservations, though. They do sell out on those tickets. I've had buddies that didn't. We were going and they didn't buy their tickets in time, and I had to go without them and had a great time. So that is a real deal. Okay, if you have any questions about northern Utah ski resorts, feel free to message me. I'll give you any insights that I can. Maybe we'll even meet you up on the slopes one of these days. Skiing has become a passion of mine in the last few years. I'm not the greatest skier in the world, but I'll go pretty much anywhere on the mountain and have a great time doing it. So anyways, there you go. You're up to speed on some of the best skiing in the country right here in northern Utah, right here in the Ogden area.